So guys, let me know now what truck you think is more expensive. Is it going to be the Kenworth or is it going to be the Peterbilt? Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin. I'm sure you guys enjoyed all the jake braking and all the stuff that's been going on in the last couple videos. Today, this video is going to be just from my office. I'm a part owner here at the company, and my role, one of my roles, is purchasing equipment. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of what it is, or the process behind purchasing equipment, ordering equipment, I should say. We're in the market for another truck. And the reason I say we're in the market for another truck is because the ordering process right now is out about a year. And I have to decide, do I want to order a truck now and get it in about a year? Or do I want to buy a good used truck? I don't know if you guys seen the video of the 2015 Kenworth glider that I purchased. I can post a link for the video up above. Check that out. Obviously, you know, new trucks emissions versus gliders, no emissions. You can put an older motor in it, you can swap it out, you can do a lot of different things with it. That's what I lean towards. Obviously, we can't have all glider trucks. They stopped producing gliders here not long ago, a year or two ago. So I can't get a new Peterbilt glider anymore. I can't get a new Kenworth glider. First off, guys, I want to go back and start out kind of why we started running Kenworths. When we started the mulch business, this would have been back in 1995. We started out with just a dump truck. I don't know the exact year when we bought it, but we bought a T800, Kenworth T800. That was kind of that was the first tractor that we owned, and it had 8-bag suspension, 430 Detroit with a 10-speed, and you could not kill that truck. You know, it was a great truck for us, and ever since we've been running Kenworth. You know, after that we bought a W900 and just, you know, started going from there. That's kind of why we just stuck with Kenworth. Kenworth was a great truck for us, not a lot of issues. I don't know, you know, there's other brands out there. I know a Western Star, Freightliner, some of those. A lot of times, well, when we were kind of looking at the time, people said, we didn't know a lot about trucks, and people were like, you know what, you know, Kenworth or Peterbilt are definitely better trucks. And my dad didn't really like the long hoods of the Peterbilts, so he kind of went leaning towards the Kenworths. Me at the time thinking big hood is better. So, but we get into a lot of tight places delivering mulch. That's why we started out with a T800 and then eventually worked up to W900s, and then just parts and everything else, kind of keeping them the same, is why we just stuck with Kenworth. So in 2008, then we started Flint Creek Transport, just basically for liability, things like that, is why we started Flint Creek Transport. And that is basically owned by the same owners of Sensenix. In June of 2018 is when we bought out Terry Bodine Trucking. They would have been a local company here. He would have had all Peterbilts. So we had 0 Peterbilts until June of 2018. We bought 10 of them. So we go from no Peterbilts to 10 Peterbilts. Talk about a little bit of a change. Our mechanics actually prefer working on Kenworths, but bringing the Peterbilts in, it wasn't a big deal. And ever since, you know, I don't mind the Peterbilts. The drivers like them. Some guys prefer Peterbilts, some guys prefer Kenworths. You know, we try to get them accordingly. If you've seen some of the last trucks I bought, it seems like one's a Kenworth, one's a Peterbilt, and so on. That's not my reason, it's just that's how it's happening. When we replaced the dump truck, Peterbilt was kind of what was available, and it was probably the best truck at the time for the job. And I'm not really, you know, when it comes down to it, yeah, I'd probably prefer to Kenworth, but I'll take a Peterbilt. It is what it is. They're still good trucks. So I was watching a video that I want you guys to check out. It is ET Transport. I'll flip the camera around right here. ET Transport. I don't know if you can see that or not. Old trucks are 100% junk. That is the title of the video. I'm not sure where they're out of, but I think they're out of Canada. I watched the video and I'm like, I understand where he's coming from, because he has a fleet of trucks that are pulling van trailers and reefers, I guess, across the country, or, you know, in regions. What we do is totally different. I'm going to get into that in another video. So I want to get into pricing today, and we'll talk about some of this other stuff later. I don't disagree with him, but I do disagree with him. So that's kind of on that video. Obviously, it's his opinion as well, which he states in the video. Today we're going to talk about pricing, and I want to also show you guys a little bit the ordering process. This is much different than ordering, you know, say you go down to the Ram dealer and you order a pickup. You got maybe 10 or 15 different options. They say, do you want the snowplow package? Do you want 4x4 crew cab? There's different wheels, couple different things. I mean, maybe 15, 20 options at the most. Otherwise, you know, and then your truck comes in and you're good to go. With semi trucks, it's totally different. You have a lot of options. So first thing when ordering a truck, obviously you call the dealer up and you're like, hey, I want to price out a truck. And, you know, they start going down through the list. Well, what model do you want? And on and on. I'll show you the list of options that there are. It's not just 1 or 2 pages. Check this out. So this is basically a booklet, 11 of 16. Let's see here. We got 16 pages of that, and then they did a layout of the truck. 3 more pages. That was Kenworth. Here's Peterbilt. Basically the same thing. This is 19 pages. So first off, you guys probably can't read that, so I'm just going to go through it here with you guys. I'll explain some of these questions that you get asked, and it's a lot of back and forth. A lot of the stuff too, even the dealer doesn't even really ask questions. He just puts some of the stuff in, like mud flaps, zinc coated frame rails. Here in the north, we want the zinc coat. One of the things that they like to do is ask you what you're hauling, because if you're not hauling what they put in for, they like to, I think they use it as a way to get out of warranty. Kind of stupid. It's not like, you know, pickup, you could order a truck and do whatever you want with it. Whereas a semi truck, they ask you, well, you're pulling a van trailer, you pulling, you know, what are you hauling? How much are you hauling? You know, what kind of region, you know, what's your radius that you're running? There's so many different things. And then, you know, they don't want you to put a 500 horsepower PACCAR, you know, pulling 120,000 pounds, you know, all the time. You know, you can do that, but they don't want that to be done. Quarter fenders, fifth wheel, front axle, brakes, disc brakes, drum brakes, size of wheel, 22.5, 24.5, rear ends, gear ratios. It's constant. Just diff lock. Once you get into suspensions, I mean, there's so many different types of suspensions. Thankfully, you can get basically the same suspension that's on the Peterbilt. You can get that on the Kenworth or vice versa. All the different gauges on the dash. There is so many different ones there. You can get different types of filters for your fuel and water separators. There's just tons and tons of options. So I'll show you this just under transmission. You can see that you got to pick your transmission, 13 speed, 10 speed, 18 speed, and then all these other options. Go down through here. Which clutch do you want? 1850, 2050. I mean, on and on and on. And this is page after page. What kind of tires do you want? What ply of tires do you want? Do you want polished rims? Do you want Durabrite rims? Do you want the round hole or the ovals? What for fuel tanks do you want? How long do you want them? Do you want to split a fuel tank? Do you want a hydraulic tank? Where do you want your def tank? Battery boxes, do you want them polished out? What size of bumper? On and on and on. And I went through, you can see, goes to seats, different types of seats. This is not a 1 or 2 hour process where you can just go in and order a truck. It's a lot of back and forth because they start to build this truck and then they call you and say, hey, what about this? Sometimes it's just easier to buy a truck off the lot and live with what you get. When you get basically done is the layout, and they give you the wheelbase, and I ordered, or I should say this truck is spec'd. I didn't order a truck, but I spec'd this truck. This is a Peterbilt 389. I spec'd it for a 270-inch wheelbase. Same way with the Kenworth. I spec'd the Kenworth 270 inches for the wheelbase. Both trucks warranty 5-year 500. And I also said I don't want any roof lights across the top on the cab, and also no exhaust on the trucks. So back when we ordered our trucks, the 3 2019s that we got in, they come in anywhere from 155 to 165. That was including warranty. These trucks, I was amazed at the price. They definitely went up. Oh, let me back up. I want to add in the Peterbilt 72-inch flat top, 270-inch wheelbase. Air ride, basically you can get the same transmission, 565 Cummins is what I expect, and the same rears, the same suspension in the back. So the Kenworth is 72-inch sleeper as well, aero cab, flat top, and a 270-inch wheelbase. And that truck also I got without cab lights and without exhaust, because the exhaust we're going to put on ourselves, and also we'll probably do solid rev lights across the roof. There's still some things with this spec. Like I went back and forth multiple times with both dealers. There's still things that I said, we're gonna have to work it out at the very end. There's gonna be some details we're gonna have to finalize. That's just part of ordering a truck. You get 100 questions. It's not just a small thing. And then when these trucks come in, obviously we put exhausts on them, we put different things on them. I have to put a wet line on them, so that they can run a walk-in floor. That's another $5 to $7 grand. Just depends on what system we build. I can get the tanks already split from factory, so I don't have to worry about splitting them, when they come in. There is definitely though some work, I would say probably with pipes, lights, and a wet line, another easily $10,000 that we're gonna wrap up into these trucks after we get them. I'm speccing these trucks from 2 local dealers. I prefer to buy local. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy local, but I prefer that. We're back and forth with our dealer a lot. We buy a lot of parts from them, different things. And so I'd rather buy local, but the prices do need to be in line. I did not check around yet on pricing on new trucks from other dealers, but I'll probably do that eventually. The Peterbilt come in a little bit high, $190,000. That's not exact price, but basically $190,000. I gotta add another $10,000 to that price easily. So new truck, $200,000. And what do I have? An emission motor truck. That's the most frustrating part of it. The Kenworth came in at 184. Again, these are not exact numbers, but they're very, very close. So you're looking at $6,000 swing is basically between these 2 trucks. So for $6,000 more, I can have a Peterbilt, or $6,000 less, I can have a Kenworth. I got to decide, resale value. You start looking at resale value. I go truck paper and you start looking around. I would say Peterbilt maybe has a little bit better resale value. It really comes down to the condition of the truck, how you keep it. These trucks, I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to keep them, keep it for a long time or not. The emissions is what scares me. The emission motors is where we have issues. Thing I got to look at too is with these trucks, I'm running around getting between 4.5 and 5.5 miles to the gallon on a good day. Then I have to add DEF on top of that. The other thing is, this is rumor, I heard that these new trucks are going to be taking more DEF, and maybe you guys can help me out. So the 2022 Cummins, I heard they're going to be taking more DEF. I don't know. I called our Cummins rep, and he said not that he knows of. They're just, they're tweaking a few emission things, but very minimal. I don't know. So if you guys have a new Cummins that you're running, 2022, you have some coming in or you run them, please let me know below if the DEF consumption is much greater. I figure in DEF, and I have regular pre-emission motors going down the road, getting better fuel mileage than these emission motors. So, and then you add in the cost of DEF, and that's what's frustrating. You pay all this money for a new truck, and you turn around and you try to sell that truck in 5 years, and you look at the value of that truck. That's frustrating to me. And in reality, these trucks are built to go 1.5 million, 2 million miles all day long. I have multiple trucks here that are well over 1.5 million miles. It seems like these manufacturers are making trucks, all these fleets run them, these plastic trucks that, after 600,000-700,000 miles, they buy them new for 20 to 150, and they turn around and I guess they sell them for $30,000-$40,000, after 5 to 7 years. And I don't know where they go, maybe Mexico or somewhere, and they probably get deleted. Do they just sit these trucks around? Eventually, there's going to be so many of these trucks sitting around. I don't know what they're going to do with them all. Other countries can keep up with the trucks or getting rid of the trucks here in the U.S. or not. I have family in Guatemala, and they do get a lot of trucks down there from the States. One of the first things that gets done down there is the emissions come off of them. I will talk about why we get Kenworth and Peterbilt W900 and 389, why we get those trucks, and kind of my thinking behind these trucks, why I don't get regular fleet trucks. So that'll be coming up in another video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace out.